Hi and welcome to Stamp Academy. This is the first preview for the new catalog 2013-2014 edition of Project Parade. And this is one of those wow cards that looks like your simple everyday card, but when you pick up the little Velcro flag and then pop this down, it has this really cool greeting with a pop-up butterfly on the inside. So I'm going to show you how to get started, and this is a Daffodil Delight piece of cardstock. All of your measurements are in the PDF, which is located below this video. You can just click on that and you can download the instructions along with the product list. So this is just an 8.5 by 5.5 piece of cardstock, and we're just going to score this right in half, and we're going to crease that score line with our bone folder. Now, to make the front cover of our card, take your Daffodil Delight cardstock and you're going to put it in your paper cutter horizontally at 4 1/4. And what I want you to do is just make a little tick mark here at the corner. And then you're going to line up that corner up there with your tick mark down here. Just get both of them right in the groove there. And then you're going to close it and you're just going to score. You're going to use your bone folder to score back on that score line. And then you're going to take your Modern Mosaic Textured Impressions folder and you're going to put that in the embossing folder so that you can see the Stampin' Up! Logo, which will allow it to impress forward. You're going to take the multi-purpose platform that came with your Big Shot and open it to tab 1. Put a cutting plate down. You're going to put down your Textured Impressions folder with your cardstock, cover it with a cutting plate, and run it through the Big Shot. That's going to give you this impressed piece of cardstock, which is going to be a faux front to the actual card. So you don't notice it when I show you the card, but it's actually just adhered to the front of a plain half sheet of cardstock. So we're going to put this aside for now and move on to the next step. We're going to work on the front cover inside pop-up piece. And by that I mean the front cover inside pop-up piece, which is this square right here. I have a 4x4 piece of white cardstock, and I'm going to put that in my paper trimmer, lining up my corners of my cardstock. And then I'm going to take the lighter of the blades, which is the score blade, and I'm just going to score that. Okay, so now you have your 4x4 piece of cardstock with your diagonal score line. You're going to turn it a little bit because I don't want those points. I want the opposite points so that my score line is horizontal. I want to find that 1/4 inch tick mark right up here, and if I drag down, it's going to show me that same 1/4 inch tick mark at the bottom. Now this horizontal line here, I want that at 3 inches, and you can see right through this clear ruler so that you know you're at that 3-inch line. So I have the top corner and the bottom corner at the 1/4 inch, and I have the side corner at 3 inches. I'm then going to take the darker of the blade, which we now know is our cutting blade. If you'll notice, I put my finger in here because when I let go of this, it's going to actually pierce the paper. So I'm going to find 2 1/4 inches, and then it's going to pierce the paper, and I'm going to drag down to 3 3/4 inches. And that just gives me this little slice. I'm going to stay at my 3-inch line, but I'm going to slide over and I'm going to move to the 1/4 inch mark on the other side of the score line. Now this paper trimmer is new and it uniquely has the measurements on both sides. So I'm going to line up those 2 corners on my 1/4 inch, and my other corner is going to stay at the 3-inch mark. And then I'm going to go to 2 1/4 with my blade, drop it, and drag to 3 3/4. And that's going to give me this little piece here, which is going to become my pop-up piece. So what I've done is I have stamped to the left bottom of my score line, and that is Old Olive, and it is the flowers from the stamp set My Friend, and the greeting is up here in Night of Navy, and that is to the upper right side. So you can see here's my score line, and then here's my little pop-up piece. So now what you're going to do is you're going to fold on this score line, pushing the center cut piece into the center of the fold. So what you're going to do is actually this center piece is going to fold up, and then the fold lines are going to fold down. And when you close it, it's going to push this score line into the cardstock. I'm going to do it slowly so you can see what happens here. So So it's actually going to create score lines in there. And then I'm going to take my bone folder and just crease all of those lines. So here you have your little pop-up piece. Now for the front cover, you have what the designer calls a flag tag, which is this piece right here. So what we're going to do is take our cardstock and we're going to put it on its side, and then we're going to take the long stamp from Mosaic Madness, and we're taking this long stamp here. And when I stamp in different colors, I always start with my lighter stamp. I do clean my stamps in between, but what I'm going to do is just ink this long piece into our Daffodil Delight ink. I'm going to line it up in the middle to the right side and stamp. Now this side is going to actually have a crease in it, so you don't have to worry about that. I'm going to clean my stamp, and then I'm going to take the next color, which is Night of Navy, and I'm going to open that up, and I am going to ink that. And I'm very carefully going to line this up, and I'm going to stamp it right next to it. Okay? And it doesn't have to be perfect. Don't spend a lot of time worrying about placement. So you're going to clean that, and you're going to go to your last color, which is Old Olive. Now, I don't put labels on my stamps. I like the way they cling better when I don't. So it's a little harder to see, but you can certainly put your label on. If you look at it from the side, you can definitely see those grooves. So however you need to line that up, just get that ready. And once you have it lined up, you're going to stamp. And when you lift that up, you should have them relatively lined up. I do have some extra room on the side, but I'm not going to worry about that. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to get your paper trimmer out again, and you're going to trim this at 3/4 of an inch. Then you're going to take your 1-inch square punch, and you're going to find your center. So I'm making sure that these corners here go to the cutting part, and then I'm going to find my center, and I'm going to punch. And that's just going to give you that cute little banner shape. And so we're going to put that aside. Next, we're going to use the Hello stamp from Friendship Preserves. And first, we're going to stamp it in Old Olive. We're going to clean our stamp, and then we're going to stamp it in Night of Navy. The Hello, we're just going to take our paper snips, and we're very carefully just going to cut that word out. The window frames framelits cut out this stamp set perfectly. So we're going to use the smallest of the framelits, and we're going to center that right on top there. Now my magnetic cutting plate has not arrived in the studio yet, but when it does, I won't need to use a post-it note to hold this down because the magnetic photo plate will do it. And I will demonstrate that for you when it arrives here. And what we're going to do for now is just trap that in there. We're going to cover it with the cutting plate and run it through the Big Shot. And as you notice, both tabs are closed. So this is on tab 2, run it through the Big Shot. You're going to take a scrap of Night of Navy cardstock, and using your 1 3/4 inch scallop circle, you're just going to punch out a little circle. I'm going to take my snips and I'm going to cut a little strip of dimensionals that will fit underneath this Hello greeting. And I'm going to just center that on there, and when I peel off the backing, I can just center that right there on top. And then I'll just use a couple of dimensionals on the back here to adhere this right to the front of my scallop circle. Then just put some snail on the back of that, and you're going to attach that about 1 inch above the V. Once you've stamped those, what you're going to do is you're going to take your aqua painter, and you're going to take your stamp pad and then just give it a little squeeze. What that's going to do is put a little bit of ink right here on this plastic. And I'm going to pick that ink up, and I'm just going to move it around so that I'm coloring in that part of my butterfly. I'm going to do the same thing with my Daffodil Delight ink, and I'm just going to fill in this butterfly. And I don't really have to worry about staying in the lines because I'm going to be using punches to pop these out. So first you're going to take the small butterfly, and you're going to slide that in so that your butterfly is centered, And then once you have it where you want it, just pop it out. You're going to do exactly the same thing with the larger butterfly, where you just line that up, center it over, and pop it out. So now to assemble the card, what you're going to do is bring back this embossed piece of Daffodil Delight. This is the front of your card. And what you're going to do is you're going to first attach the white pop-up piece. So this is going to get attached to the back of the card here. And you're going to be leaving about 1/4 of an inch all the way around. And I like to use sticky strip when I'm going to be adhering something that I really have to make sure is going to stay on there strong. So let's put some sticky strip. So once I have that sticky strip on there, I'm going to rub it with my bone folder, and that's going to allow me to remove the adhesive backing more easily. Once I remove the backing, I'm going to very carefully line this up so that it has its little 1/4 inch border, and I'm going to adhere it. So once you've adhered that piece to the front flap, so it's actually, here's the front of the card, it's going to fold down like this, so this flap is still not attached. So now before we adhere this other white piece to this piece, what we want to do is we want to take that banner that we created, and I'm just going to put a little piece of sticky strip right here behind the banner. And when I remove the adhesive to the sticky strip, what I'm going to do is just flap this over. So I want it to look like this. So I'm going to just flap that over so that it attaches itself behind the white piece of cardstock. And then I'm just going to go ahead and attach this whole thing right to the front of the card. So you're going to take that fake front and you're going to put that right on the top here and adhere it. Okay, and so that's going to give you this card. So now this is what we have. Then what you're going to do is just put a couple of glue dots right here on this butterfly, and you're going to attach it right here to that little pop-up. And then you're just going to put a couple of glue dots on the blue butterfly, and you're just going to adhere that right here to the inside. Now to finish this off, what you want to do is put some Velcro on this piece. And so you're going to take 1/2 of a piece of Velcro. So I'm going to put this back here. And when I peel off the backing to the Velcro, it's going to expose the sticky side, and it's going to attach itself right to the card. So what you're going to be left with is a banner that's Velcroed closed. When you lift it up, this piece is going to fold down to show you your little surprise inside, and then you can actually write on the inside of the card. So that's your Stamp Academy preview for today. If you have any questions for us, we are at mail@stampacademy.com.